How's it going? Today is 21st of April, Sunday, and we'll take a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find. In the city, let's take a look at the just since yesterday we were taking a look at different markets. We cacao market. This is something that we were delving deeper. I was reflecting on the entire strategy within Africa's region. So I thought what would be a better way of delving deeper and trying to understand perhaps investment opportunities, right? Since we have, might be taking a look at future opportunities and what, if anything, coming into this, right? Would be interested in understanding what people need within that region. So since a lot of products and services that potentially we can offer or anyone can offer, we need to understand their actual need. So acknowledge the issues that they might have and then offer solutions, right? I highly focus on areas like food security and energy. I think those two areas are most important. But that's my opinion. I haven't been that yet to know what's really happening, right? Either way. So that's some preconceptions coming into this. In this video, let's take a look at some of the press releases. Something that was released long time ago, but while I was doing research just now, I find this article, so I thought it might be important. That would be UK to host African Investment Summit in April 2024. The Prime Minister will host UK African Investment Summit in London on 23rd, 24th. So that will be within the next couple of days. And there might be a video recording of everything, during which I would be interested in understanding what people might need and perhaps future opportunities. But again, I think food security and energy, that would be two sectors coming into this, right? Quickly, right, just before delving deeper into this article, I was interested in understanding what information might be available online when it comes to exports by volume. There might be different kind of all kind of different exports, right? So by volume, let's take a look at crude oil. Several African countries, particularly those in North and Northwest Africa, significant exports of crude oil. I was taking a look at Nigeria, and more and more local companies having more rights into exploration process, something I was delving deeper previously, right? And contracts been given to those countries, and there's a lot of things right happening. It's always take a look at this case, right? And Angola and all Algeria as among the top oil production countries in the continent. From there, let's take a look at minerals and ores. Africa is rich in minerals and resources, including gold, diamonds, platinum, copper, and iron ore. Perhaps I was taking a look at Europe, what kind of companies or countries within the companies would be able to even take part in some of those projects, right? So I delved a little bit deeper in there. From there, it's something that we were taking a look at yesterday, that was cacao and cacao products. I was taking a look at that previously, right? Let's progress. Coffee, Ethiopia, Kenya, and Uganda. From there, we take a look at number 5. That would be natural gas. From there, number 6, horticultural products. It's great, I guess, but let's progress. I think when determining what would be very important, let's focus on very, very important areas, right? Precious stones might be important, and from there we can progress to fish and seafood. I think there's a lot of potential within this area, in particular when offering training, how some processes, how things are being done now could be done better, and in return that would offer food security. So perhaps there's a lot of potential there. From there, progressing to number 5, processed foods, perhaps, textiles and apparel. Okay. So there's a lot of potential there, and there might be a lot of existing partners in this area. So, and there's so many different colors, all these kind of things, right? So, but either way, let's come back to this article. Let's come back to this article when it comes to investment and the number of investments I think there might be even 200 investors and or businesses that will be taking part in summit. Key points that would be Prime Minister will host African leaders in London for a second UK Africa Investment Summit, 23rd, 24th of April. The announcement comes Foreign Secretary, there's names there, signs a new trade and investment agreement with different parts, right? Because things are all changing. It's something that trade agreements, something that I was taking a look at previously, but necessarily would need to be limited to just to those areas. And from there, Summit aims to improve two-way trade investment, creating jobs and all growth and support. Okay. So let's support everyone. If you would ask me, let's support everyone. Two-way. So it was something that I was taking a look at previously. It's something that I was discussing potential opportunities when it comes to coffee and what partners would need in return, and then perhaps Amnesty would come into all of this, right? Let's delve deeper into this article and see what we can find. The Prime Minister will host UK African Investment Summit. In London on 23rd to 24th of April 2024. The summit will bring together heads of state governments from 24 African countries with British and African business leaders. It will strengthen UK African partnerships to create jobs and growth, supporting British and African talent sectors such as finance, okay, technology, and the woman, but let's support everyone. If you ask me to support everyone involved, we need to single out some group of people based on many things. It could let's start with gender, progress into color of skin, all these kind of things, right? So rather instead of singling out any particular groups of people, let's focus on everyone. Why are we gonna do that? But either way, it's good that I guess what they do. So if there would be, I think the important part out of this, perhaps those group of individuals might need to have points of contact within UK. I don't think as of now, because right now I'm looking points of contact within Africa's region. So I think they would need to have something within UK. As of now, I think that's been established, right? The summit will build on the results of UK African Investment Summit 2020 and Virtual UK African Investment Conference in 2021 and 2022. The UK African Investment Summit 2020 marked an important milestone in our partnership with African countries and announced over 6.5 billion in deals plus further 8.9 billion in investment commitments. UK, since UK departure from EU, UK has to focus on its supply chains. So, a quick note: UK that's at the forefront, or at least it should be, since other governments have very strong supply chains, not necessarily as of now, or perhaps UK should have. I don't think perhaps it should, but either way. Virtual conferences following years build or further connections between UK and our African business, with more than 3,000 UK and our African delegates looking at further opportunities to facilitate deals with a focus on clean growth opportunities across the continent. By 2050, 2 billion people will live in Africa. More or less, right? So, how we can predict the future. Since we take a look at financial markets, right? Be careful with some of the people while taking a look at financial markets making this kind of statements. It should not necessarily means that it will. I hope if you would ask me, this number can be way higher if they would like to. More than half will be under 25 during the next 2 years. Fast economic growth and expected across sub-Saharan Africa than the global average. And as the world faces the stark and or shared challenges of climate change, the UK is working with African countries to support that, mitigate, adapt to its effects, recognizing Africa's abundant potential for renewable energy for the future, right? So they would highlight energy sector, right? Perhaps food and energy. That's my self coming into this, as I mentioned, right? And perhaps the UK is focusing on energy, and there might be some opportunities there, right? By facilitating business-to-business links, trade opportunities, and or investment, UK and Africa's region will help harness the potential for the creation of mutual prosperity, economic growth, jobs, and a global transition to green energy. Foreign Commonwealth and Development Secretary, that is named there, working closely with Secretary of State of Business and Trade and or President of Board of Trade, what is the name there, will lead work across the wide hall prepare for some. Okay, I don't know these people by the way, so as of now, embassies. I hope embassies would perform up to the standard and feedback there, right? The Foreign Secretary commitment last December for focusing on partnerships on the future with the countries, those economies, populations, and ultimately influence globally are growing. Okay, okay. Myself, if you would ask me, I'm very interested in places like Egypt. I think Egypt still would be classified as Africa's region, right? For people who don't know, right? And even population there would double if it's not already double. I don't know about the age of the people there, but there's so many opportunities there. Perhaps starting with food, progressing to other areas. I hope that I don't know. Let's avoid any conflicts, right? So if everyone would focus on prosperity, partnerships, and growth, there would be way less conflicts in the areas. If you would ask me, all the people would be busy trying to get along. Quick note there. He sees countries in Africa as central to this and is seeking to build on partnerships across the countries on the basic of respect, mutual benefit, common interest, and most importantly, by listening to African countries' perspectives. Okay, okay. So myself are interested in the same area. I would like to hear what people have to say, but not necessarily. Sometimes it can be very hard because it depends. It depends. I think I have noted previously they would like to develop their own supply chains, right? So that's perhaps a key area what they would like to do. Not necessarily they would like to sell only raw minerals and resources. They would like to develop their own supply chains, right? So quick note. So if we all listen, nobody is hearing this part. By the way, when when Stalin said it, let's forget. It has been a major part of his visit week to Sierra Leone, where he has signed an agreement between the UK and I don't know what's happening there. I haven't read this agreement. I was taking a look at some agreements yesterday. It was if you are interested, you can take a look at that. And investment, he also members of the government on opposition leader to tackle the stock ahead of upcoming elections. Well, yeah, that's what I mean. So there might be more things happening in there. I don't know historically and other cases, so I delve a little bit deeper in some of historical records. So usually it's not that good. Usually it's not that good. But I hope things would change for the best, right? That's close as any of that. If there's gonna be a recording, would be very interested in taking a look at the recording and or perhaps how they're gonna progress and some of those opportunities, including banking and monetary, perhaps changing currencies. They might be interested in that. Well, I would say focusing on that while focusing on perhaps food and while focusing on energy security, right? Supply chains, perhaps they could do that as well. So that's my expectations coming into this. Thanks for watching. See you next one.